Okay. Uh I think we're live. I should be on. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. YouTube is just kind of doing its thing today, I guess. Hello chat. It's been god damn, it's been like 5 months, 6 months. I streamed in May, March, April, somewhere in there. I've all right. What's the news since then? I've been to Europe and back twice. I went to Superbooth. I got to go speak at a gaming conference, Soundtrack Cologne, also in Germany. So Germany and back twice. God, I've been busy. As I guess you can probably tell, while also remaining like chronically underemployed. So it's been a long few months. We'll just say that. Anyways, looks like everybody's here, and I see the chat is working. So hopefully this will work. I don't know what the hell is going on in like the back end of YouTube, but it's a nightmare. So if the stream like crashes out, I apologize, but apparently there's nothing I can do. Anyways, what else? Released some new stuff, new music, did the soundtrack for Warrior Tears latest episode. Been working on a couple things in the background that'll be out next year, I think. Can't really talk about those yet. New instrument, Aura's Lair. It's free. It's for a decent sampler. I made that with my friend Jason Graves. A couple people mentioned it in the chat, so hopefully people have been enjoying that. That was super duper fun. Got a project with Jason Graves that comes out in a week, plus or minus. I'm waiting on some paperwork and stuff. That'll be coming up soon with the Novation Summit, no less, which I have over here. That's new since I last streamed. I think the Pulsar 23 is new since I last streamed. And a couple other odds and ends. I bought a Bass 6. That was really fun. Some micro cassette recorders for a project I'm working on. You know, love doing stuff. All right. So anyways, welcome back to the stream, everyone. I put it to a vote in my Discord, and the Discord voted for making music with stuff, followed very closely by playing with new plugins I haven't tried yet. So I figured, fuck it, why not knock out like 8 birds with one stone here and play with some new stuff and try and make some music with it. And yeah, trying to think of any other noteworthy new things. I did meet Natas Kunas, I hope I'm fucking saying that right, at Superbooth, and they handed me their album on cassette, which is really, really cool. It's actually a really nice album. I like it a lot. I was listening to that earlier today. That's the link on Bandcamp. You should go check it out. It's very good. I like it. Yeah, all right. Anyways, let's do a music, I suppose. I just got I got a new keyboard and mouse. So I'm also trying to like remember what the hell my keyboard shortcuts are for streaming. Look at that. I'm a wizard, Larry. All right. Musicking. Well, what's new? I got new organ library from my friend Jameson Nathan Jones and my other friend John Meyer Music. Somerville Sounds is his sound company, sample label, whatever you're supposed to call it, and that's cool. I haven't tried it yet. Jameson made a whole video on it that I need to finish watching, so I have that. I downloaded a bunch of stuff from Minimal Audio. I have all their other plugins. I only normally use Rift, and I've used Current kind of off and on, but I downloaded their other stuff for some sound design I'm doing for a game I'm working on, because I was doing some voice acting and a lot of like the Foley and like sound effects, sound design. So they were really handy for that. So maybe we could dick about with those. Spline, the new Wave Warden synth. They make Odin 2, which is a fucking fantastic free plugin. Spline is paid. It's really cheap, though. I don't remember what it is offhand. That came out a couple months ago. I did some of the factory presets for it. And then I have the new Physical Audio Tetrad, I think is what it's called. So we can just kind of dink with those. Why don't we try that organ first? That's probably the one I'm like most curious about. Upgrade from the Peak to the Summit. I actually sold the Peak when I bought my Iridium, because I don't know, there was just like way too much overlap there to have two wavetable things. And then I got the Summit just recently, and I think it actually stands against the Iridium nicely. I don't feel like there's as much overlap between the two. Jesus Christ, Contact's gonna be a complete pain in my dick and Crash Reaper today again, isn't it? Okay, well, there we go. Kontakt 8, everybody. Fucking love it. Kontakt is my favorite. What is it called? Genesis Pipe Organ. So this is Jameson, Nathan Jones, and John Mayer on Somerville Sounds. Someone can link that in the chat, I guess. Did you get Steam Pipes? No. Yeah, Summit's, I think, the most recent acquisition. And then I have a Kinetone Ribbons I got semi-recently. That thing's pretty cool. Anyways, all right, organ. Let's throw a limiter on here. That would be smart. All right, let's see what you got. It's pretty quiet. Creepy. A message from the deep. Oh, and then we get separate key zones. Okay. Cool. All right. That is awful quiet. Let's just give it the old what for. All right. So what do we have here? So I know we have ADSR, some effects. There's a movement control. Oh, and we can assign that to different stuff. Okay. Cool. So like a rate and depth, different layers. So we can have 2 layers. Okay. Sounds neat. Oh, speak of the devil, there's Jameson. I texted him right before the stream and said, I'm gonna try out your new organ, don't disappoint me. We'll see how he does here. So, mod wheel, alright. Spicy. Cool. That's fun. key range. Just make some with that. In case it's not clear, I don't play the organ at all, so I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but that's okay, because I'm a YouTuber. We're not real people, anyway. Nice. What else we got here? Murder ghosts. All right, that's my type of sound. Tight. The Machinery of Greatness. Woo! Truth and Consequences, not to be confused with Truth or Consequences in New Mexico. Fun fact about the organ I learned from Jameson Nathan Jones, it does not have an ADSR, so this is only possible through the magic of Jameson Nathan Jones and Somerville Sounds. SomervilleSounds.com, I think. Yeah, I like all the texture. That's nice. I feel like this is an organ I would actually use. I played with Organ Tech just a little bit, and that's just like not, I don't get it. This is pretty cool though. That's cool. Alright, so maybe we'll do something with that. What's the other thing? Tetrad. I have no idea what this is. I know Ben has it, and Ben had an annoying time installing it, and I installed it, and it was also annoying. But I did get it working. Can I make that bigger? Of course not. Okay. Tetrad. Physical audio. It's something about plates and physical modeling and something. I don't really know. Let's see what this does. And the sustain pedal is stuck. Great. Okay. Cool. That's weird. Drones. Now we're talking. Okay. There's like aliasing or something? What is that? Yeah, Jesus Christ. That's like ear splitting. Okay, god damn. Yeah, that sound makes my head hurt. Did they all do that? Ah. I don't know if that's gonna come through on the stream, but fuck me. Yeah, like... it's like pure fucking 10K in your ears. Okay, I mean, this is fun. Give me a pad. Yeah, is that doing that too? Don't want to boost that, for fuck's sake. Ah! Okay, so it's fun, but you've got to low pass that. Holy fuck. Sequences. All right, go. Okay. Scale aware. E Phrygian. Whoa. All right. Sound design. That's fun. Oof. All right. Sure. All right, how about some leads? That's a lead sound? Okay. I mean, it's like a keys sound, but sure. That's all right. Drill. That's pretty fucking cool. Mod wheel doesn't seem to do anything. There are MPEs. Are there literally 2 MPE presets? Okay. Can I... What was that sound? Yeah. So I think it can... It sounds like it's doing... Yeah, like resonators, and you have the option to bypass those, and there's like a saw oscillator or something. Okay. So if we go into MPE mode, is there like an MPE? No, that's not settings. Of course it's not. We can sidechain audio in though, that's fun. Info. No? Okay, can I just... Don't think so. Is there like a mod matrix? Yep. Can I move... MPE mode? Is that enabled or disabled? Okay, I don't know. I want to assign pressure to the filter. Okay, so that's on. That should be way more clear. And I think slide on the Osmos is aftertouch. Yep. Okay, so shape the VCO with aftertouch, I guess. Okay, what am I targeting? I want to target the mixer filter frequency with aftertouch. The mixer... Oh, there's 3 filters. Okay, so mixer filter frequency. Okay. Kind of, not great. I like the idea. But I feel like if I was gonna make something like this... Yeah, I don't know why they don't have like any mod wheel assignment in the presets at all. Quad output is kind of fun. MIDI mod wheel to the frequency. Okay, I'm like not hearing what that's doing. Maybe these mix together some way I'm not understanding. The quad AM is kind of fun. Okay, sure. I don't know. That's cool. Spline is new. Let's play with that for a minute, shall we? Oh, I'm still running the beta technically, but whatever. I will update later, thank you. This should still have all my presets in it. Yeah. Some from Databroth, Wavewarden, and then me and some other... I think Dash Glitch did some presets and stuff. I don't have the release version. I should get that, though. That's fun. What other presets did I make? Nice. That's fun. Bass. Nice. Oh yeah, the sequences were super fun to make. I think all of these made it into the final release. I don't know, though. It's great, though. So it's Vector synth. So we can control the wave and the wave morphing and stuff with the Vector Mixer. I think my pads I did... Yeah, so you can draw, like, a map for the Vector Mixer to move through, like, the old, like, Prophet VS or something. So this one's really, really cool. I honestly haven't been using it a ton since I did the presets, but I haven't been doing like a ton of software synth stuff. I've mostly just been like fucking with hardware lately because I'm chronically underemployed and have like nothing but time on my hands. But this is really, really cool. I like this one a lot. I think... I'm not sure, but I think when I was talking to Wavewarden, they were talking about adding wavetable import, or they did at some point. I don't know if that ended up happening or not, but I have a feeling this and the organ... that would layer together nicely for something. Trying to remember other cool presets I came up with. Duty of Call. So this is doing a lot of wave shaping and stuff. The really cool thing with this, someone pointed it out, trying to remember, yeah, so you can have effects enabled via a step sequencer. So I'm enabling Oscillator 2 only on certain beats of this groove. I know some of my other sequences make more use of that. I'm not sure which ones, though. Maybe I did these sequences in weird ways. I honestly don't remember. This was so long ago. Anyways, but you can enable, like, different voices or different effects or different routing and stuff based on the sequencer. I'm sure Databroth did a bunch of cool stuff with it. Yeah. So, like, here, Oscillator 1, Oscillator 2, Filter 1, Filter 2, and the delays are being activated on individual steps of the sequence. Maybe we have to play the DAW to run this. Maybe not. I don't know. How about... I don't know. Anyways, that's Spline. It's really, really fun. Oh, and I made the, yeah, how do you play that? I think it's... yeah. Something like that. The Annihilation sound. I got really, really close with this. So, that's fun. Pity it has bad contrast. I think this is still a beta. The final display might be totally different. I don't know. this is not the release version. Okay, so that's Spline. I don't know what else I have that's new. I have a feeling Reaper's about to freak out again. All right, great. Cool, appreciate that, Reaper. Always a good time. What else have I got that's fun? Trying to think what else I've been using a lot lately. Oh yeah, Noisy. I think I even put that in the thumbnail. Why Reaper? Mostly for just game audio work. Reaper just integrates well with middleware and has lots of custom export options and things like that that just make my life easier. And then for sample editing, like building my sample instruments and stuff, Reaper lets me do a lot of really powerful stuff with automation. So just a time-saving thing. It's just the most useful DAW for what I do. So Noisy is made by Expressivy, the same folks that make the Osmos, and it's a synthesizer and like a physical modeling thing. It does physical modeling like reasonably well. I'm trying to find a preset. Yeah, so like this type of stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of like noise-based resonance things. Some nice kind of fun sparkly keys and things like that. And lots of great, like the soundscapes in particular are really, really lovely. And also because it's Expressivy, it's MPE enabled, so if I go into MPE mode here... It's pretty fucking great, not gonna lie. I like it a lot. I like it way more than the Osmos. The Osmos synth engine I do not fuck with at all. But I love the... I don't know, immersiveness, whatever. Super cool, pretty easy to program, lots of weird like modal resonator things, and also dual layer, so I can oh, it does have a second layer, so I can like grab a layer of keys and then a pad layer or something. Change the octave and stuff. Let's grab one of the like soundscape ones. Maybe one of these. Or wait, I already loaded that one. Soundscape Metallichrome. Sure. It's really, 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 really good. I think it would be fun even without an MPE controller, but with an MPE controller, it's a great time, man, and it's like not super hard to program for. Lots of cool like textures and shit. I really, really like layering it with pianos. The jazz one is the one I normally use. So something like this, and then I would just doink these into a group and add oh shit, I can't show that. I will add the kilohertz compressor. And just kind of glue it together a little bit with like some compression, and you can get some really excellent stuff like that. Very, 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 very nice. Okay. Oh, and then, fuck it, why not? Let's have a quick look at... Layer by me and Jason Graves. This is in Decent Sampler, and it's free. You can get it on my Gumroad, and it makes fucking horrible nightmare sounds. This is not MPE. I may make an MPE version someday, but... lots of creepy, crawly textures and... some more, like... there are, like, synth layers in there. And then lots of, kind of, like, horrible, atonal nightmare fuel. And this is super fun if you're making, you know, dark horror stuff. I usually like to layer it with another version, like an octave down or something, and then I'll just filter the lower octave so that it's not so... I don't know, it just doesn't sound like a bunch of shit shifted an octave down. So then we put those together, just like balance them a little bit. Maybe a different preset. It's great for just like trailer stingers, you know, like if you're doing like a trailer score, end of trailer title card. Because you could take that and just like... no, plugins. I don't know, like, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, do that. Maybe make like a... just a quick bonk. With, you know, whatever you want. This, you don't need Faceplant for this. Just, you know, take a sine wave and modulate it by about 3 semitones and play it really low. And then I would probably... whoops. I would just, like, group this. Add a little bit of punch. And maybe just, like, a little kiss of color on it. And anyways, end of trailer. The movie. Just like distort the fuck out of it, and it makes lots of fun sounds, or play, you know, really low notes and just like the filtered. You know, like automate that, boom, trailer, done. Okay, all right, so music, let's do that. That's enough fucking around. What do I want to do? That's a good question. I want to, okay, Something like that. And let's do something with the organ. Why not? That's one of my custom patches on the Summit, which is gonna be free very soon on Novation Components for free. Let's find a... Okay, get a limiter on that bad boy. Kilohertz limiter, great. Just kind of glue me together a bit there, buddy. And, alright, now we... okay, cool. We have sounds. Now we need an idea. So this is Summit. This is organ thing. Let's get a noisy. Or wait, noise Y. And maybe a spline patch. Just use a bunch of things I haven't touched. Except for noisy. Oh, what was the other thing? Tetrad. Tetrad. That had some fun sounds. But it needs the EQ to get rid of the fucking aliasing nightmare that apparently is Tetrad. I'm going to send them a very strongly worded letter. There we go. All right, cool. Tetrad, spline, noisy, organ thing. Okay. What is a musical idea, Cameron? Sure. And then what is this on? What are you on, buddy? Channel 13. Pulsar. Ah. I don't know, something with that. Solar, what are you doing? You're on 9 and 10, buddy. Summit. Okay. Something, something, something. Yeah. Okay. And then organ stuff. Yeah. And this is Solar 42. So, a concrete musical idea in... some E-flat thing. Phrygian, I think. Sure. All right. When in doubt, just do something. Probably pick something that's not like an init patch. That's got some good texture. Tetrad, what are you doing, buddy? You're not gonna do that, that's for sure. Sure. God damn, that is annoying as shit. Sure. Dark, doomy, depression bullshit. Fine. Noisy, you're gonna be like a lead? I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Triplets. Okay, so there's an LFO somewhere. That's in 16ths? How about eighths? Why is it the rate being modulated? What is modulating the rate? In the matrix, L1 vibrato. Layer 2 expression control. Okay. It's modulating the filter, right? The noise amount. Alright, we'll figure it out. Okay, so the song starts with Tetrad. Oh, that's the solar dumbass. Okay, I like what the solar is doing. I'm not... This Tetrad preset's maybe not the mood. How about sound design? Oh, these were all like dumb bullshit presets. I don't know. I don't fucking care. Sure. Don't need spline, don't need noisy. Tetrad, organ thing, and summit. Okay. Dun dun ba ba ba. That pulsar sound is really fun. Maybe we just like don't need a tempo, I don't know. Okay, we have written actually zero fucking music, so... Time to quit being a baby. Make a decision, goddammit. Yeah. So here, change up. Here, new thing. Here, intro bullshit. Got it. Okay, Noisy, what were you doing? Yeah, okay, so I'm not gonna do that. I like where you're going with it. Okay. Yeah. And then give me a reverb, whatever it's called. Minimal swarm. What does this sound like? Okay, sure. Let's make that sound a little more interesting. Reverser. I don't know that I honestly don't know that I particularly give a shit about tempo in this song. Nope. Like 5/8, and make this one like move around or something. See, the secret with music is not to think too hard, because if you start thinking about shit, then nothing gets done. Maybe that's a little long. I mean, it does have like an ass load of reverb on it. And then if I could just make that a little more crunchy, just to, I don't know, sound like just that much more interesting. Sure. So that's going to be like the melody, I guess. What's the organ going to do? Okay, it's cool. It needs to not just be like all a bunch of fucking pads, though. He says as he pulls up more pad sounds. Maybe that, just something kind of delicate on the top. Just that feels like the thing we're sort of mangling. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, hold on. Yeah, Omni mode. Oh, right. Yep. And then automation. MIDI automation, CC11 volume to 64%, right? yeah, whatever. Just so we can kind of like play with it a bit and add more reverb. Yeah, alright, whatever. Don't think too hard, just fucking do it. Okay. Should save this as stream thing. For the love of fucking Christ, computer. Stream thing. Just in case Reaper decides to get testy with me. Because we are using Contact, and Contact is not a good time. Alright. Maybe not shimmering. How about flickering? It's just the... There we go. I just don't want that like top end. So spline's doing stuff. Noisy. There's an idea in here somewhere. When in doubt, distort. Sure. Okay, whatever, and then I think if we just do... If we just do like a little filter movement on that. just to keep it a little more interesting. Sure. I think we need just like a boom. I've been using this quite a bit to make these. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Just let me use my goddamn plugins, dude. Come on. Yeah, for like big trailer booms, this plugin's great. This is Random Metal from Beat Surfing. All right, cool. Just need a big ass reverb and a ladder filter and a cram it. All right. Not quite. I think that's literally the exact one I just had, but... That sounds good. Okay, that needs a little bit more thunk to it. Come on, Reaper. You fucking piece of shit. This is 90% of my day. Just like, come on, Bertha. Wake up, honey. It's time to do music now. You can do it. There we go. Maybe not those. Love making music. Just going through goddamn kick drums for 17 hours. Alright, just something to add a little bit of juice. There we go. Alright, solar. Something in that ballpark. Let's just lay that down and fix it later. Sure. So that like pulsar-y thing. Maybe just the delay from it, not the raw source. Something that's just like a little out of tune and weird. It definitely needs a little like stereo image to it, which I really like using tape delay for this. And just like don't think about it too hard. Just, you know, put a tape delay on. Just, you know, spreads things out. Feels nice. Maybe a little bit of the spring reverb in there. So let's bring that in, kind of develop the textures here, and we'll get a melody somewhere. Sounds good. I liked that really broken kick drum thing. So if we just sync that delay into something kind of musical. Something. Let's just record some noise from that. We can kind of dick with it. I don't know if that's going to be useful at all, but now we at least have it. Okay, so Summit, you're probably going to do some melody stuff. Oh. Okay, maybe not. I would almost like to hear a cello in this. I think that would be kind of a neat contrast. So the Swam stuff is really nice, but I just set it to mono and then toss on like just a reverb of some sort. Usually Ultraverb, because Ultraverb is great and ultra super duper flexible. Kind of fun. I really don't want to write like hybrid orchestral again, but it's my channel, goddammit. Alright. Doink, doink, doink. Doink, doink, doink. Doink, grab, push, great, up, reverb over here now. Cool. And then give me violence 2 up an octave. I like that melody idea. Those are really, really loud, but there's maybe an idea in there. So like violins can go over there, cello can go this way, viola can pair with the cello a bit, strings, and then I'm gonna grab bum, bum, bum. Come on, Bertha. Wake up, baby. Streaming time. Oh, Bertha. I'm gonna take you in the yard and shoot you with a shotgun and buy a Mac. I swear to God. Come on. There we go. You did it, Bertha. Augmented. Brass. Wheel. Brass. Sustain. There's my brass. Yeah, really, really, really like the Augmented Orchestra brass. It sounds very good. I don't like this workstation update, though, where I have to switch the modes to change it to Omni, though. That's annoying. Okay. Uninspired melody ever, but sure. And then brass 2, you'll be low, high. All right, need a melody, just that's what I think of that, but that's okay. Just give me that down an octave. All right. Let's make that a choir. Maybe. How about orchestral suite, choir, mixed choirs. If only I had this like handy search function. Dumbass. Yeah, I should read chat, shouldn't I? I should catch up on what you goddamn degens are up to. Let's I just want to finish this out. Alright, well, if we're doing, like, hybrid orchestra something. I'm gonna be incredibly original and use damage, too. Alright. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Great. MIDI, overdub, high percussion. Actually, you know what? Drums, low, drums, mid. Low, drums, mid, drums, high, just so I can actually try and attempt a mix. Okay, so mid drums, we have and then we need... Yeah, whatever. That was mid, that's for sure. All right, high drums. Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll just do some upper toms. Nope. Sure. I kind of want, what is, like altos? just need a little something on the brass. Cool. Now let's try and double that lead line with the summit real quick, and we can answer some chat questions. How about that? That sound may work. One, two, ready, go. Nope. A little too nasally. We'll just use that, whatever. I feel like this is a little cheese, but that's okay. All right. So the real question is, where does this go from here? Because I can almost just live entirely without literally all of this. Yeah, like I could almost do without everything. But the orchestra is kind of fun. I feel like if we touch that up with some just more like hybrid-y feels. Because it almost feels kind of like Battlefield 2042 to me so far. Like, that's cool. I like that. Why don't we do some questions? Take a break. We've made some music. After dicking around with things for forever. All right. Discord link, yeah, somewhere in the chat or in the description. Sorry. Call the piece Pharaoh's Coroner. Not a bad idea. How would you go about making something in the style of Black Sabbath Planet Caravan, only VSTs? I have honestly no idea. I'm a guitar player originally, so like all sampled guitars just kind of sound like shit to me. Unless they're like very, weird atmospheric, like super processed guitars. Drum wise, I mean, with like Superior Drummer or the Steven Slate drums or something like that, if you tune them down and kind of get like some low tuned old school drums and mix like mostly kick mic, snare mic, and room mic, that would probably get the drums pretty close. Bass wise, I don't know what bass sample libraries there are out there. I have a bass right over there, so like I've never needed one. But I imagine like any bass library will kind of just get you a bass, and you can just kind of low pass it to make it kind of that old kind of thuddy 70s stonery stuff. Guitar wise, I honestly have no clue. Someone else can probably answer that better than I can. Superbooth 2026. I don't know. I've traveled a lot in the last like 4 years, and I'm getting a little burnt out on it, so maybe. Why Reaper? Just because it works better for what I do these days, mostly working in like game composing or like composing for, movies and things, that kind of stuff, writing for commercials, and then also for sample library development when I make my sample libraries. Reaper just has a lot of tools that make it a lot less of a pain in the ass to like, render 4,000 samples and normalize them and name them, and it can do a lot of fun stuff. So just mostly a time-saving measure. Do you think you grow out of making electronic music? I think you grow out of making whatever you get bored of. You grow out of whatever isn't fun anymore. I think there's tons of producers who have made nothing but rock or indie or electronic or techno or dubstep or whatever, and then there's people who started doing one thing and then ended up making something entirely different. I don't think it... I don't really think it maybe comes out of like growing out of it. I think just like once you've done enough of a thing and you kind of feel like, well, I've done all I have to say here, then you just, move on. I don't think that's a problem. I don't know, I don't feel like I would ever pressure myself to make like, do more of this thing now because that's the thing that you were assigned to do. Because that's boring and that would really suck. Knobcon, probably not. I don't know that I have the time. Need to work more than like take another road trip. But I don't know. I got to talk to some people and see if they're still going. I may try and swing it, but it would be very last second, and that means it's going to be more expensive. So very likely no, but maybe. Also, hello, Mike Martin. If you have not watched Mike Martin's video on the new Cherry Audio Krumar Spirit, I don't know what Cherry Audio called it, but Mike did a video on his channel. He did a song demo of it that's absolutely fucking fantastic. How old are you? I'm 31. I'll be 32 in a couple months. Favorite paid and unpaid plugins, if I could choose one of each. It kind of comes down to like categories, synths versus effects and shit like that. I really, really, really like Dune 3 from Synapse Audio. I think that's a very, very good, does a little bit of everything synth. Yeah. Free plugin wise, utilitarian wise, like Cardinal can kind of do a little bit of everything, but Vital's fucking great. And Odin 2, I talked about that a little earlier, also from Wave Warden. That's a very, very, very good synthesizer for nothing. So probably like on the paid side, something like Dune, I guess, is like a good all-rounder. On the free side, probably Vital, just for like it does a lot of different things very well. Could it gent hard stuff over ambient things? I have done a little bit. There was one game I was working on that got canceled that was basically ambient stuff, and I have a bass 6 for like big heavy chugs. There was kind of an experiment going with that, but the game got canceled. But yeah, I have played with the idea. I love your vibe since 2019. Thank you, Dijon, like the mustard god. The UVI Native Instruments section was loud as fuck. Yeah, Superbooth was very fun, and it was not nearly as loud as NAMM, but I feel like in that room in particular it was a lot of yelling. I have snippets of your voice. Okay, if I make a song with those snippets, I mean, go for it. I released a sample pack of like pre-drop vocals for 20,000 subscribers years ago where I'm like, chortle my balls. It's on my website somewhere, I think. How often do you use Wwise or Fmod for games? The last couple of games I've been working on have all been directly in Unity, which is interesting. One game I was working on that got canceled, they were using Unreal Engine's Metasound, or Metasounds, whatever it's called, the middleware that's inside Unreal. That was kind of cool. I would say more often than not, I do stuff in Fmod, but Wwise I have worked with, but generally Wwise is like studios with a good amount of money and like a team of people handling that. So mostly on the indie side, it ends up being directly into the engine, or it ends up being Fmod, because Fmod is kind of the more lightweight solution. Bitwig 6 is dropping tomorrow. Are you excited? Does not affect me whatsoever, but I'm sure it'll be great. I think they have a new audio interface thing. I saw that earlier this year, but we were going to stream and play with it, Ben and I, but the internet didn't work. Worked with the Polybrute 12 and Summit yet? Yeah, I mean, Summit... Whoops. Summit sits here, Polybrute sits here. It's a good time. I need a new power cable for the Polybrute, though, because the Summit came with an EU power cable, so I had to take the power cable from the Polybrute and use it for the Summit. I need to just buy another one of the three-prong IEC cables or whatever they're called, because this right now has no power. But yeah, they're super fun together. How often do you get composing gigs? I don't know. It's pretty sporadic. The video game industry is on fire right now, so not very often for that right now because games are burning. Film industry's been pretty lightweight as well, I think, just because of a lot of the writer strikes and things like that. And then the last couple offers I got from like productions for streaming services, the offers just weren't very good, and I wouldn't own any of the music, and they weren't willing to like negotiate on that, so I just said like, fuck you, no. But you know, probably like 5 or 6 a year, you know, something like that. What are your top 5 drum VSTs? For like acoustic drums, I've been using the Steven Slate drum thing. It's fine. I kind of want to get Modern and Massive too. I've heard good things about that. Microtonic, I use quite a lot. Drum Computer, I use a fair amount. It's kind of it, honestly. I don't know that I have many more drum plugins than that. Because the other like drum sounds I'll make, usually I'll do with like Cardinal or something where I'll like patch a drum machine together. Any advice for up-and-coming musician, artists, content creators that would like to do something similar to that you do to music and content? Yeah, I mean, I've talked about this a lot on streams and stuff. So like the super short version of it is everybody has their bullshit, okay? So my channel, I'm me. I'm grumpy and cynical. I'm good with cameras and stuff. I'm good at storytelling and things and writing. I'm interested in music. I'm interested in like psychology. I'm interested in philosophy, right? And that's kind of like my thing. I'm not particularly outstanding at any one of these things individually, but if I put them together into like a big Venn diagram of bullshit, right in the middle is where you live. So whenever you make your next video or song or whatever, you just kind of constantly have to ask yourself, like, what is a me thing? So, like, not what YouTube video am I make, what Scully video am I going to make? And same with, like, music and stuff, is, like, whatever your cringe is and your thing, the further you lean into that, the more it's going to stand out against anything else, because no one else is going to be looking at that thing the way that you do through the Venn diagram of bullshit and like your perspective and interests and influence and whatever. So, you know, TLDR is like, do your thing 100% of the way. And if anyone doesn't like it, fuck them, because you're not making it for them anyway. You know, that's the long and short of it, I guess. Be you. Everyone else is taken. You know, it's annoying, but very true. Oh yeah, Surge XT. I can't believe I forgot Surge. Yeah, Surge, in terms of free synths, is just fucking obnoxious. It's probably a little overkill if you're not familiar with synths, but once you know your way around a synth, go download Surge. I mean, it does everything. It's about as modular as you can get without going modular. It's pretty great. I've been confused about this basic. What is meant in this music making space by a preset? Preset is like when I load a sound on my Summit here that's like done. You know, when I'm scrolling through the factory sounds, that's a preset. What other questions have we got? Consider doing more with Surge 2. Is there a Surge 2? I thought it was just Surge XT. Not super in the loop on that. Not doing plugin videos or anything like that ever again. But, you know, if I end up getting back into streaming, maybe we'll play with Surge at some point. Let's see. Already answered that. Any music for virtual reality games? No, I've never worked on a VR game. I would like to someday. I don't know. Like, when I played Bone Lab, the music in that was really cool. And, you know, it had, like, some interactivity and stuff. But, I don't know. If I worked on a VR game, I would like to do something that really plays with the music in, like, the VR space. And I don't know what that game would even be. Orchestral stuff, beginner composer, gigs, opportunities, push my out of my comfort zone. You know, like write music for a commercial or something and put out a YouTube video or an Instagram reel or a TikTok or whatever. Like, if you have a cell phone and you make half decent music, you know, just take your favorite video game or movie or whatever, and just, you know, I rewrote the soundtrack of Spider-Man. Boom, put that out there. I mean, that's pretty much why my entire YouTube channel exists anymore. Like, I make nothing off YouTube. I make like a little money, but effectively it's useless at this point. AdSense is a complete joke. But my channel exists as just one big billboard for Venus Theory Incorporated, and I think the barrier to entry to that is so low that if you do that and you do that well, that's enough to cast like a very, very wide net to start bringing in clients and stuff, even if it's just, you know, your first composing gig or whatever. Pretty much every composing gig I've ever landed has been people who found my YouTube channel and went, hey, your music's cool. Come make music for my thing. So, you know, like put your music together, make it into a snappy 60-second fun thing, talk about a trick you learned or like a fun technique you figured out, make the video about that, and next thing you know, like you start to build some traction and whatever. I mean, I think that's a much better use of your time than putting together like a portfolio. Like my YouTube channel and my social media presence is my portfolio. And I think anyone can do that, and it's extraordinarily powerful. So that would be the best thing I would advise, is like polish up a couple of your best pieces, maybe write some specific things for like a specific concept, a trailer or a game or What if Breath of the Wild was dubstep? Like, just answer a dumb and interesting question. And if you can do that and put your music on it and the music's good, something's bound to come of that eventually, I think. Audio interface do you use with Reaper? Recommendation-wise, though, I really like the Arturia Mini Fuse series. I have the 2 and the 4 over there. Those are my, like, travel interfaces. Otherwise, the Focusrite 2i2, 50th generation, whatever they're on, those are fantastic. My wife has one of those, and she loves it. I use the AudioFuse 16 rig, but I kind of need, like, the digital patch bay to run all of this. How long does it take to finish a game or movie? Games, it depends on the development cycle. Usually a game is like a year, give or take. But I've done some like indie things where the timeline is like 4 months. It just totally depends. Movies and stuff, couple months on average. You kind of got to... Sometimes you write and then they like film stuff. But I don't know, films take so long to make that it's kind of hard, because it's like I'll write for 2 weeks and then I won't hear anything back for 4 months, and then I'll write for a week and then I don't hear for 3 months, and then I write for 4 weeks and then I don't hear back for a year, and then it comes out eventually or something. So very, very dependent. I would say games average between like 3 months to a year. Films are probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months of just a lot of back and forth. Make a chord. All right, here's a fun chord. This is, if you take an E major chord and you play a, let's see, how would we say that? We would do a C sharp, a D sharp, an F sharp, and a G sharp, or a G sharp, and a B flat on top. It's a very fun E Lydian voicing. I like that one a lot. Very, very spicy, and if you invert that where you have the lower hand playing that and the upper hand in the E major. It's a very fun movement with E, because you have... That's a nice one. Any more ethnic and obscure instruments? I'm looking at buying a Harana Hiroche, I think. North Mexican, like Yucatan area, traditional stringed instrument. Sounds very, very cool. I have a Dilruba over there, which I played with at some point on a stream maybe. Otherwise, not really. I've, like I said, been kind of chronically underemployed, so I'm not really burning money on instruments right now. Where are you based? I'm outside of Nashville. How do you proceed diving deeper into music besides making it? I think that's about all there is to it, honestly. Make 1,000 shitty songs and then start making 1,000 okay ones, and then you'll make 1,000 good ones. Analog Rhythm. Yep. Mark II. Right there. Last time I streamed, like 5 or 6 months ago. Album of the year so far. I don't know. I'd have to think on that. I think... What was the last one I was listening to? Something 22. It's like a Mark Wahlberg movie. Mile 22, maybe. Sounds right. That was really cool. Most recently, Disney's Elio? I haven't seen the movie yet. Or Pixar. Disney Pixar. Elio or Elio. It's like the kid and the aliens and something. That had a really, really good soundtrack. I liked that a lot. I listened to that when I was driving home from North Carolina. All right. Was the Venus theory ever solved? The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. All right. Spatial mixing, Dolby Atmos. Don't give a shit. Don't have a setup for it. Don't really care. Just wanted to thank you for the sample libraries. You're welcome, Andreas. I have a. I'll be making one of my Summit patches as well. That'll also be free. I need to do that soon. All right. Argon 8. Can I load my own wavetables on it? No, unless they've updated the firmware. Do you still own the game music you make? I try to as much as I can. In some cases, if it's a bigger developer, they will just own it because they have, money and lawyers. For most indie games, I will stipulate that like it remains my music. And generally they're super cool with that. Devs would fix in Reaper. Not really. I mean, Reaper has so many community scripts that like every time I've run into a problem with Reaper, I can like Google it and someone out there is like, oh, I made a script for that. And it's like, sweet. Scores and revisions get paid every time or for a finished project. So you get paid generally per delivered minute in games, and then films, sometimes the same, and sometimes it's more like we have this much money for the score, and you're kind of like yes or no. But generally, I have in my contract, I have a stipulation for after 3 revisions, so you get 2 revisions for free. On the 3rd revision and onward, it costs my studio day rate to do that, which has saved my ass a few times where there have been just clients that are a huge pain and, they need 7 different revisions because they can't make up their mind on something. And then it's like, dude, I can't keep making the same 5 minutes of music for free because it takes, a week to make the track each time. So if you sit down and make yourself a contract, always include a stipulation for like an included number of revisions. Tiny indie teams. I love working with indie games, honestly. I kind of prefer it. I honestly don't know that if I had the opportunity to do another AAA title, I don't think I would. A lot of things would have to line up in a very, very specific way. I really like the indie side of games because on a smaller team, I don't know, and it's hard to say because like on the big studio side, like single A, double A, triple A, the people are very passionate about what they do. And that's a given. And like they're always incredibly nice and super fucking talented. But I feel like in the indie side, you just get more interesting ideas that aren't diluted through like 12 different layers of like approval and management and direction engineers and like you just get 5 super weird people in a group that are like, what if the muffins were made of lasers? And then the whole time everything was a dream and time is a flat circle but it's a platformer that's also 3D when you turn the camera, but it's always 2D, just like I feel like it's more creatively fun. And I've found that indie teams, while they generally don't have the budget to like kind of afford what my like normal rate would be, they're always willing to work something out to where like it makes sense and I will take on the project. And like I said, generally it's also like I get to own the music, I get to distribute the music, I get to, talk about it on my channel if I want to and things like that. So I generally prefer the indie space, and I kind of try and find those gigs as much as I can. And I think it's also nice that like usually in the indie space, when someone like a studio or like a solo dev finds me to work on their game, they want like my vision of the music and not just like, hello, music person, we need a legally safe version of this thing. Make that. So, like I'll work with indie studios as long as I can make it like make sense. Usually more on like the back end rather than like I need a ton of money up front. But yeah, I don't know. Indie games are always just more weird, and I really enjoy that. Acoustic pianos. No, don't have any acoustic pianos. Want to buy one someday. Don't have space, as you can probably tell. Doggo support charity stream. I have an idea for it. I'm hoping to do it around Christmas again. I have one other idea I would like to try. It's going to depend on, I have another game this winter I'm going to be working on. It kind of depends on how that schedule works out. So if I can't do charity stream week, I have a backup plan. If I can do charity stream week, it'll be around Christmas again. I thought you have a team for movie effects. No, I do all my videos myself. I do all the writing and color grading and music and sound effects and editing, and it's a huge pain in the ass. Soft synth, hardware synth these days. I mean, I like Pigments a lot, and the Iridium is basically Pigments in a box. What mic do you use for the stream? This is a Rycote RC15 or RC22, one of those two. Nier Automata soundtrack. Not for a while. What's the wood your table is made of? This is just some piece of shit Amazon desk. This is like a laminate thing. Not real wood, but does look nice. All right, we should probably try and finish some music here. Do you ever feel like making a game yourself? Sure, I just completely lack the ability or talent. Interested in doing sound design for indie films and animation? I don't know. Sound design's like, okay, it's not my favorite thing to do. All right, I think we're about caught up. Sounds good. All right. Let's try and finish this idea and call it. All right, where were we? Let's give this kind of a quick mix. I think this brass could benefit from... All right. All right, intro stuff. some transition things. Maybe use this one as like a riser. Nope. Just need a like a big sine wave to support that. Maybe like a solo horn. Some textury stuff. Nah. What is a flugelhorn? That's cool, but like that would honestly be better as like a violin line. I like the idea, just not the execution. So I think what we need to do is split this stuff off. Because we had like a quiet moment in here, so maybe this is just like this thing. I really like the sound of a cello. The problem is like the Swam solo instruments just kind of sound like piss. I don't know why. But the ensembles sound more like a cello in a room. Yeah, I agree. I feel like maybe just the French horn needs to be out here, and I think it just needs like more reverb to have the right character. Because I agree, like a soft French horn would be cool. I don't know. Maybe not. Best to not think too hard. You know, why don't we just double it with a violin and be cheap? Yeah, alright, and then... almost... Alright, so that doesn't need to be there, just kind of tail that off. Sounds good, whatever. It's a random stream track, don't think too hard. Alright, well, better punch up that intro with the most uninspired punch. I have one other idea, and I've really got to pee. So we're going to race to the finish line. Oh, come on. What am I looking for? Dual ARP into spline? Something, just like a lead. maybe? Oh, don't crash, you piece of shit. Reaper? We've talked about this, buddy. Alright, Jesus saves. I swear to God if I lost all that. Come on. Oh, man. Yeah, Reaper and my fucking patience lately. I don't know what it is. I think it is just certain plugins are like giving Reaper a hard time now, and I don't know why. And this is why I never update shit. Just because like when I have all my plugins and things are just working, I just like I don't want to update. I don't want to fucking upgrade. I want things to stay exactly as they are. And in the past, month or so, all right, it saved everything. We should be okay. Yeah, I've just like had to upgrade a couple things, and I think it's like something running somewhere, probably fucking Contact. It gets real testy. But this is why I have Reaper set up. It saves every 2 minutes. So even if it does crash, I have an auto backup that like usually will have saved. So I definitely recommend setting that up in Reaper. The like just auto create a backup function. Massive time saver. All right. Fuck. This one? Nope. That was it. Okay. I kind of just want like a little pulse in the beginning if we're just going like generic trailer shit. Maybe not that sound. Just a really basic. Yeah, just like a super basic trailer pulse. Yeah. Sure. And then let's just do the teeniest bit of filter movement. Just something like that. Just kind of builds the intensity. Okay, sorry. Think we're back. Stream crapped out. All right, I think we're about done here. I don't know. I think I would probably add a melody in here. You know, build something here. Anyways, let's just add a quick mastering chain of some kind. Give it a listen. I'm gonna go have a super quick piddle in the little Venus's room, and maybe we'll do one super fast round of questions. Sound good? Sounds good. All right, let's do it. Okay, I give myself like a 4 out of 10 on that, but in fairness, I've been writing music for like a completely different style of game, and sometimes you just have to let the fucking garbage out and make a bunch of sludgy trash, and then eventually something better will happen. But that was fun, got to play with some hardware. You know, a good time. I'm gonna go have a quick piddle, and I will be back momentarily. All right. Ooh, Lord. Sorry about that. He says as he drinks more water. Stay hydrated. Okay, let's lightning round some questions, shall we? Where did we stop? On On Logic, I'm able to start an idea on my iPhone and bring it over in Logic. Huh. Like you can like import from iCloud? Like a recording or something? That's kind of cool. I do that sometimes. Like I'll record on my phone and put it on Google Drive and then like boop the file in. But if Logic has like a seamless thing, that's actually kind of neat. The best DAW is the one that works for you. Very true. I would add to that, the best DAW is the one that gets the job done. Like nobody gives a shit what DAW you're using. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Very true. Look at that ass. Look at that ass dropping the real life advice. Defo not a 4. I would give it a 4. Like this needs a ton more to it. The ambient section, like if I would have stuck with that vibe, I think I could have come up with something a little better. This was pretty whatever. But you know, once you add damage too, you're kind of committed to the bit. Is the thing. The ambientiness, like if I had more time to like do this and I wasn't like streaming, I probably would have kept that rolling and made like something cooler out of it. I really like that organ patch and the summit thing. I think, you know, that could have developed into a cool idea, but you know, nobody wants to watch me make ambient music for 4 fucking hours. If you watch the big composers, most of them use Cubase and Nuendo. There's a reason why. Yes and no. I know quite a few composers who have done a lot of stuff that use like FL or Logic or Reaper. Cubase is really popular for media composition and stuff. I know actually a lot of people still using, what the hell is that DAW? God, I gotta look it up here. Because it has some really cool features for time code. And it's like a really old one that still gets used a lot. What the hell is that called? A lot of like orchestral composers I know use it, where like if they do a ton of orchestral work, they'll use that. God, I can't think of it offhand, and Googling DAW with timecode support is not yielding any results. It takes years to master these DAWs. It takes years to master any DAW, in complete fairness. Bitwig wins, end of thread. There you go, Pock. You got it. Did you wash your hands? Of course. So clean I can lick them. And now I taste like soap from Aldi. That was a mistake. What are your opinions on music? Music's an interesting thing, isn't it? My opinion is music is good sometimes. Next purchase production is fluffier towels. Play bass with wet hands. Very true. I need to buy new towels because we bought them probably like 5 or 6 years ago now. We bought like spa towels, like the really thick, soft ones. Those things are fantastic. I personally think music sucks. Punching MIDI with a mouse. What's the best way to start playing piano and synths? Honestly, like one of those little mini labs. I have the Arturia Mini Lab 3. It's 27 keys or 36 keys. I don't remember. Oh, no, it's in my travel bag. Anyways, you know, one of those little tiny MIDI controllers I think is a great start just to get your hands used to like playing chords and, you know, developing like your muscle memory and stuff. I think eventually if you enjoy playing keys, you'll probably want to upgrade to like at least something with like 49 or 61 keys just to have like the range to play like a high part and a bass part and stuff. But even like the Osmos here is 49 keys, and this, for like most of what I've been doing lately, this is more than enough. And generally, if you're doing like bigger orchestra programming things, like you're just kind of doing one part at a time. Like, all right, the high horns and the low horns and the woodwinds and the low winds and the reed things, and then the violin and then the cello and the bass. So like a solid 49 key controller, especially used, like on Reverb, you could probably find one of the Arturia Keylab Mark III or whatever, or Keylab Essential Mark III, the like lesser edition of the premium one. You could probably find one of those used for a hell of a good deal. And then I have heard good things about the newer M Audio controllers. They're pretty cheap. I've never tried one. I know back in the day they were kind of shitty, but I've heard good things about the new ones. But yeah, like a tiny little keyboard, I think is a great way just to develop playing things that way. And depending on the style of music you make, that may be all you need. A lot of the like EDM, techno guys and like dubstep guys, I know that's like, they're like doing very well in music, and they just have like a little tiny keyboard controller, and they're like, yeah, I just go bup, 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 and then this, and then it's got the faders so I can automate shit. One of those would be a great choice. I think you'd have a very fun time with it. Staccato, arpeggiated calam. Yeah, I think like a good string ostinato and things like that would make this feel a little more interesting. But, again, 4 out of 10, it's a stream track. All is fine with the world. We all want to watch you make ambient music for 4 fucking hours. Maybe next time. Not Cakewalk. I can't think of it. It's... that's going to bother me. I'll figure it out later. Does anyone use GarageBand for serious projects? Probably. I wouldn't doubt it if like pro producers have used GarageBand to make a track. I said the big composers, not any composer. All right, Jazz Dude knows everything. Congratulations. I think you could talk to Ben Jordan and ask about that. He wrote literally one of the most successful ad campaigns of all time in FL Studio, but I'm glad you're here to teach us. How much music do you make in a typical day? I don't know. Depends on the day. If I'm writing like really short stuff, sometimes I'll make like 2 tracks in a day, and mostly like writing. I don't like to mix and master all in one session. If I'm like really deep in a project, kind of a track a day is my usual thing. Like write a bit in the morning, take a break in the afternoon, finish it at night. Something like that. In some cases, I've had to make like multiple tracks in a day, like 3 or 4, and that can be a nightmare. But generally, those are more like in a game or something where it's like just kind of ambient background stuff where it's just like pulses and little percussion and things like that, where it's like, all right, I need a 2-minute loop that has some interactivity that can play for 40 minutes, something like that. Really depends. And then some days I don't make any music at all. If I'm working on a video project or I'm handling client stuff or emails or, paperwork. I love doing paperwork days and accounting days. So sometimes none. But yeah, generally like a track a day, or at least like a good start to one, is my usual goal. I find I've got like 4 or 5 hours of like real creative juice any given day. I don't know. Like I can't write music all day. I absolutely can't. I know some people that can. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, I've got like 4 or 5 hours of like legit creative potential a day, and I kind of just break that up throughout the day and try and not... If I do it all in one sitting, I feel like I get kind of burnt on an idea, so I'll kind of space it, like I said, usually like morning, wake up, do coffee and whatever, write for a little bit, get an idea cooking, lunch, emails, whatever, come back to it, great, eat dinner, done. Acid, Digital Performer, Moniten Martin, yeah, Digital Performer's it. Yeah, some of the orchestral guys I know love Digital Performer, and they've showed me like it can do all sorts of weird MIDI things and time syncing where it can like turn frames into tempo and stuff. It's neat. I've never tried it, and I don't know. Maybe one day I'll play with it, but we'll see. Acid Pro sucks. I don't know anything about Acid Pro. Hello from France. Do you think learning to play piano is necessary to compose? Not really. I think piano is good to learn just because it translates to a lot of other instruments, because it forces you to learn like notes and scales and intervals and chords and and like every instrument is just notes except like weird synthesizer things. So I think even if you don't know how to play piano, if you do like some basic music theory lessons, like musictheory.net is a free resource that's great. And just kind of understand like how melody and harmony and things are formed and how they get put together and stuff like that. I think that's a really useful tool, but I don't think it's like totally necessary. I mean, listen to like techno or acid house or any of that. You know, like acid house especially has lots of just insane melodies where someone has a 303 and just goes like da, 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 and just makes like some crazy sequence that makes no musical sense, but it sounds good. I think it just comes down to what you're doing. If you wanted to write, you know, like big cinematic orchestra stuff, music theory is going to be very helpful. If you want to write like crazy, dark, grimy, cyberpunk stuff, I don't think theory's like super necessary for that. But I think it's a good idea. And I think if anything, even if you don't like study theory for 10 years and shit, just having a grasp on it, I think is a good way just to understand music and like unstick yourself if you get stuck or like can't figure something out or whatever. So, you know, I don't think it ever hurts to expand your palette of tools. Harrison Mixbus. Man, whatever happened to Mixbus? Does that still exist? I really wanted to try that like 5 or 6 years ago, I think, when like the big update came out and it looked awesome. I think it's pretty cheap too, or maybe it was on sale for super cheap. I was gonna get it at one point, but just I think there was something weird with like VST support in it for like instruments and MIDI and things. But maybe they've addressed that since. I don't know if it still exists though. It's a very fun idea. I don't know if it actually sounds any better, but you know, it seems fun and silly. Have I ever talked to Hans Zimmer? No, but I have had coffee in his studio, so that was cool. What are you using as a stand for the keys in your lap? Some Amazon Z stand. It was like $30. It's also what the Polybrute's sitting on. There's a Liquid Stands, I think is the name. They make a like $70 or $80 version, and this is like the exact same thing, but $30 because it's, you know, great music stand instrument brand, or you know, some random knockoff brand. It's great. Yeah, love them. Drum VST is like Tom Factory. Not really. Tom Factory is kind of the only one of its kind. But if you have a microphone and like Amazon boxes, you can make Tom Factory yourself. I highly recommend it. I do that trick all the time now. Just cardboard boxes and like banging on them with sticks and mallets and just compressing the shit out of them. Sounds awesome. The transition from doing gear videos to lifestyle philosophy. I mean, long story short, sort of talked about it earlier, the Venn diagram of bullshit. Like, these are the things I'm interested in. And I feel like in terms of gear YouTube, I just said everything I had to say. And then the scene got very toxic and annoying. Ben Jordan did a video on that was really good. Exact same situation. And I was just bored, you know? Like, I don't want to sit here making videos about fucking plugins. Like, everyone's doing that, and I don't have anything unique to say about it. You know, like, wow, product is cool. It has a filter. And, you know, everyone else who has that synth, it's the same thing. Like, I don't think I'm a particular creative person when it comes to that format, and I'm just not good at it. And when, you know, Loopop and people like that exist in the hardware space, what's the point? And then in the plugin space, like, there are just so many people that are really, 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 really good at making those videos that it's like, why am I trying to compete with this? Because I'm not that good at it. I'm not interesting or funny to present things in that fashion. And like, I feel like I'm underutilizing the things I want to be doing. So I'm just going to go do that. It was a complete risk. I had no evidence that it would perform well at all. And even lately, it hasn't performed well really whatsoever. You know, it's just, I was bored of doing that. This is what I want to talk about. It's my channel. There wasn't a lot more to it than that, other than just like wanted to push myself to really try and do something bigger than just like the new reverb plugin. You know. Will you leave the stream up? Yep. Sadie as a DAW. I've never heard of that. I'll look it up though. Mini labs are 25 keys, yeah. Drinking water through the wrong pipe for a split second. Oh yeah, I've done that a few times where I'm like mid-sentence and I drink something and then just like, you know, die. Novation build a heavily underrated controller. Yeah, they have the new Mark IV, Mark V, whatever they're on now. I think they have a big weighted version. I played at NAMM, but that was like 2 years ago. So that was probably like the Mark II or III or whatever. That felt really, really good. My big weighted controller, I have a Casio Privia PS7000, I think is what it is. That thing's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like MIDI controllers have been pretty solved. Like, for $200, you can get a very, very good MIDI controller now. Whereas, like, when I was starting out, you had to spend, like, some pretty good money to get, like, a, you know, studio sledge, whatever they are. Like, a nice, really big one. But, yeah, like, the Mini Labs are great. The Akai little ones, those are pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. It's cool to live in an era where, like, you could spend, like, $500 and have a very, very nice setup. Gemma Hooper, what's up? I haven't seen you in a while. Congrats on the recent successes. Thanks, I guess. Particular scripts you find useful in Reaper. SWS extensions, absolute must-have. The global sampler, Alchemy Neuro uses that in Bitwig, but there's a global sampler script that was originally for Reaper. That's phenomenal for sound design work. And I have another one. I don't remember what it's called. Variator, LKV Variator, I want to say. And it lets me, so like if I'm making game sound design assets or game music, I use it for a lot. So like if there's a transition stinger where it's like and it's made up of like 5 different layers, the Variator script, I can grab those items and say make a variation, and it'll like time stretch them and move the elements around a tiny bit, and, you know, pitch some things and pan some things, or do you can customize what it makes a variation on. That's absolutely insanely useful, and it's free. God bless the Reaper community, man. There are so many free scripts I found, just like I said earlier, where I'll run into some obscure like problem or like thing I need to do in Reaper, and I Google it, and then someone on, you know, the Reaper forums is like, oh yeah, I made a whole script for it. So yeah, it's pretty wicked. Like, the level of customization in Reaper is awesome. Music tracker. I have the Polyend tracker. I've never tried like a tracker DAW, but maybe someday. I'm not like a super big tracker guy, but Polyend tracker is super fun. I've had a good time with that thing. But I've never tried like the major tracker DAWs, just because I don't know. I don't feel like I make a lot of tracker music, so a tracker just doesn't really appeal to me a lot. But I've heard some really cool like ambient-y things made on trackers, so I should maybe just like go for it and see what happens. Reaper question. I don't know on that. Digital Orchestrator Pro from 1994. That's a callback. I remember seeing ads for that. Oh, Virtual Riot. What's up, dude? How's it going, man? I think I sent you my presets, Virtual Riot. You should send me your Polybrute things. Remember? Please. Email me those. Let's see. Been using your Polybrute much? Yeah, I had to jank the power cable from it to use my Summit, so I gotta buy a new power cable to turn the Polybrute back on. But yeah, I use it all the fucking time. I love the Polybrute, man. The 12, like the full touch thing and shit. It's just wild. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how Arturia tops that. It's kind of the weird thing. It's like, cool, you've made the coolest analog synth ever. So, congratulations. Like, I don't know what a Polybrute 3 would even add. Yeah, just great. I love the mod matrix and stuff, and like the getting like pseudo MPE-ness from it is just unreal. And then, you know, like, kind of like we talked about at NAMM, like stacking the modulators and stuff. It's just fucking crazy. It's weird too, because like the Polybrute, the raw sound of it doesn't really like wow me that much, and like the filters, okay, but once you start doing like the mod matrix and the full touch patches, and it's just so fucking good. It really, really is. Mixbus still exists. Okay, maybe I'll grab that one day. I would love to just make a mix in Harrison Mixbus and just like try and like do the mix in Reaper just with like digital EQs, like kilohertz slice EQ and like kilohertz compressor, just like purely digital stuff, and then try and recreate that exact mix in Mixbus and just hear the difference. I don't know, because like on the surface, the entire promise of Mixbus sounds like bullshit, but maybe it's awesome. I don't know. I have never met someone that uses it. Glenn Fricker, Spectre Studios, did a video on it a couple years ago, I believe. I don't remember what he said about it, but on the surface, it totally sounds like bullshit, but under the hood, like the non-linearity and the non-linear summing and things like that, maybe it's fun. I don't know. I really should just try it. Mindfulness or meditation practices? Not really. I'm not much of a meditation guy these days, mostly due to lack of time. I don't know, just like always try and find the end of the day is kind of my big thing, where like I'm just gonna turn everything off and go play Xbox, and I'm not gonna fucking text or Discord or anything. I am gonna fall off the face of the earth for 2 hours and like shoot people in the head with a sniper rifle and fly around in my hang glider in Far Cry and have a lovely time, you know. And just like, even with music, I think there's a lot of an approach that people just, we want to make music all the time because it has to be a thing. Like, just fucking turn on your synth and run it into Supermassive and just fuck around for an hour. Like, don't record it, just make something and just like enjoy it. I think we forget to do that a lot these days. I especially am super guilty of that, to where like everything has to be like for a project. And like my favorite times making music are just like I pick up like my ukulele thing I love, the baritone uke I've talked about a few times, and I'll just play it to my dog for 20 minutes, and it's just lovely, you know. Yeah, that and like read a book every once in a while. It's good for you. It's like vegetables for your brain. I guess vegetables are vegetables for your brain, but like books are the Szechuan sauce on the vegetable for your brain. Favorite orchestra libraries? I don't know. UVI Augmented Orchestra, I really, really like that. The SWAM instruments, I'm in love with them. They've gotten me just like through so many projects lately. I used the East-West subscription for a while. The Opus Hollywood Strings and Opus Brass and Opus or Amina Choir, or no, that's Native Instruments, whatever. The East-West stuff I really like. It sounds a little dated, but it's very, very functional. And yeah, I want to buy Cinematic Studio Strings and Cinematic Studio Brass, Cinematic Studio Winds, and then the Cinematic Studio Solos. Jason Graves recommended those to me. Those are phenomenal sounding. Bit of a pain in the ass to program, but they sound wonderful. Outside of that, I don't know. It's like, I like the brass from this one and the strings from this one and the whatever from this one, and I think that's how you know you're like deep in the weeds in it. But not being like a super orchestral guy, I'm honestly probably not the best person to ask. But yeah, like UVI Augmented Orchestra, it's not the most detailed orchestra library ever, but it's got a lot of interesting texture-y, like fun techniques and stuff that kind of get me there. And then the SWAM stuff is more like for clean things. But programming an entire SWAM session, I made a template for it, like just doing the cellos and the violins and the brass, because like you have to do each horn individually, and if you want 3 French horns, you literally have to program 3 French horns, and you can't just copy and paste the MIDI to each one. Like, you really need to play each one individually to get it to sound like real. But when you do that, I mean, goddamn, that's lovely. And like the legato and stuff that the SWAM does, because it's not sample based, is, I mean, really, really fantastic. Craig Peters, what's up? Your videos are fantastic. Thank you. Howdy doody, buckaroonies. I didn't say that at the start. Let's see. Oh, Jason Graves is here. Yeah, okay. Jason Graves, yeah. Jason would be the guy to ask about orchestral libraries. Audio Pills avoids burnout by actually making a bunch of music, whatever he's doing. Yeah, which I think is nice. Like, that's kind of my thing with YouTube videos, is like when I was making YouTube videos about gear, that would just burn me the hell out. But now that I make a video about whatever, and then I'll just like write the music that goes under the video. I think that's the perfect relationship of like YouTube and music for me. All right. If I could improve one thing on the Solar 42, what would it be? Separate distortion. I would really love a version where the filters aren't like summed. Like, I would like individual filters for each discrete section. But, you know, it takes and it gives, and it's weird and strange and makes sounds like I've never gotten out of anything else. So like I can't fault it. It's weird, and if you just kind of vibe with what it does, I can't complain too much. All right. Review others' tracks as a dedicated Vitter stream. Probably not. The last couple times I've done that, I've gotten in like major copyright trouble. It's just too much of a nightmare. Did I leave my power cable there? No, I brought the power cable back with me. Trinov Audio Nova. No, for monitoring I use the SonarWorks reference. If it's doing something similar, I'm not familiar with what that plugin is, but yeah. Divisimate. Yeah, that's the other thing that goes with SWAM is Divisimate, so it can it's really cool. It splits up, like if I play a chord, it'll split that chord to the violas and the cello and the violin, and then the brass, it'll split it to like the correct instrument, and like the reeds and winds, it'll split it correctly. I don't have Divisimate. I've been maybe thinking of grabbing it to play with it, but I don't have any orchestral projects right now, so I don't really like need it. But it is cool. I think SWAM has it like linked through their site if anyone wants to go learn more about it. What are you feeding your mustache? Steak, potatoes, buffalo chicken sandwiches I've been making a lot of greens, and smash burgers. Been making a lot of smash burgers recently. Yeah. Oh, and brisket. We've been having a lot of brisket as of late. That's the secret, I suppose. Are you happy with the Summit? Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Summit fucking... It's great. It's like... all the kind of nitpicky bullshit I had with the Peak, the Summit more than solves. And then being able to layer 2 patches and do, like, splits, or have them, like, totally layered, or, like, one is an ARP and one is a pad or a lead or whatever. And the new dual filter is really, 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 really cool. So it combines like 2 of the filters in one, so you could have like a low pass and a band pass, and you can like separate their cutoff points and like the resonance and stuff. That's crazy. Makes some very, very fun sounds. And I like the extra knobs on the face of it. Like I feel like I can make a patch faster on the Summit than I could on the Peak. But Jason Graves and I had the same complaint with it, where by default the oscillators are like perfect. And I think every patch we were working on, that was like the first thing we would tweak, is like the oscillator drift and like the variance and stuff. Because once you do that, I mean, fuck, it sounds fantastic. Like it just, I don't know, it feels so much more like vibey and interesting. So I wish there was a way to update the default preset on the Summit to just do that automatically, because it's like, that's like 4 clicks every time I make a Summit patch for no real reason other than just to get it to sound more like, I don't know, different. Do you get anything from Splice like us noobs, instruments or loops? No, I don't use Splice. Brutal abdominal pain for the last 20 months. Jesus. Starting to create in spite of that. Well, okay. Hopefully you're doing better, Gemma. Sorry to hear that. That sucks. Go-to vibe drink for composing. I haven't been drinking much at all for like a long time now. I had a margarita with Jason Graves. That was really cool. That's like the first alcohol I've had in months. Not a big drinker. If it's in the morning, I like to make a good like cortado espresso drink, or like a cubano, where you like froth the first bit of the espresso that comes out with like some brown sugar. That's very good. In the evenings, I really like Aldi has a black tea raspberry like flavor squirter. Love that. And Diet Coke with a lime packet, the real lime. It's like the dried lime powder. Throw that in a Diet Coke. Sets you right with the Lord. All right, let's try and answer a few more questions. What's your opinion on the Korg multi-poly? I don't know. I kind of want to check it out. I feel like I would really vibe with it. The what do they call it? The Chaos Pad in that seems like really fucking cool. There's a channel called Limbic Bits. Probably the only synth channel I watch anymore. Limbic Bits always has the best fucking sound packs. They sell them as well through Gumroad or their website, I believe. Limbic Bits did some multi-poly stuff where I was like, God damn. So I might check that out at some point. But, we'll see. Any opinions on AP Mastering's curvature compression plugin? I have no idea what that is. Sorry. What headphones are you using? These are the AI TMA Pro wireless TMA 2 something, 2 plus, I don't know, TMA something or other. These are the ones that are the wireless ones. I just don't have them charged, and I don't know where the wireless thingy is, so they're just plugged in. They're nice. For closed back, I use these when I'm recording, like tracking instruments and stuff, because they're a nice kind of tight seal. They're very comfortable for long-term use, as you could probably tell by me sitting here with them on for fucking 3 hours. Other than that, I have the Austrian Audio HIX65s. They're open back. Those are my like mixing and mastering headphones. I don't really like mixing on these. I honestly, I don't know what it is about like the sound of it. It's just like once you go to like a really nice pair of open backs, every closed back headphone is like, why am I doing this to myself? But yeah, they're great. These are my like travel headphones too. I bring them with me when I'm like working in music in like hotels and whatever. They're great. Super lightweight. The battery in them lasts fucking forever. And there's a switch like up here, so I can also just turn them into Bluetooth headphones. So for listening to music, I really enjoy them. For mixing, the open backs are, I don't know, the stereo imaging and stuff feels a bit better. But these are great, and I'll take them when I'm traveling for like Bluetooth headphones and stuff as well. Summit stuff. Yeah, we'll have a video about the Summit coming pretty soon on Novation's channel. You should go subscribe for the free sound bank coming through Components. All right. Been making stuff for 8 years, but releasing is still new to me. How should I go about it? Just put it on Bandcamp. Fuck it. Don't think about it too hard. If you have DistroKid or TuneCore or whatever, put your stuff on streaming. Like, just do it. The world is always going to be a worse place without your ideas in it. Don't think about it too hard. Fucking put it out. Do some promo through Instagram or something if you want. Put it on TikTok. Make a funny TikTok with it. It's probably the smartest way to promote music now. And YouTube mix channels. Like if there's I don't know what style of music you make, but if you make like psytrance or something, if you just look up like psytrance mixes on YouTube, usually you can find tastemaker channels that'll promote your music. Generally for free, like as long as you just let them have the AdSense revenue, which like I know that sucks, but that's the music industry. Everybody needs their fucking 10%. But I would do something like that. Just look up mixes in your style, submit it to a few playlist curators, submit it to some YouTube channel long form mixes, and just put your shit out there. Don't think about it too hard. Like you should get it out there and start making the next thing, I think is the best advice I would give. The mad scientist of the music world. Yeah, I guess. Use pedals with synths. Yeah, use them all the time. I have a whole pedal board back there that I use. Smooth that out. Honestly, the AudioFuse 16 rig, because it has that like digital patch bay, this has been a godsend for that when I have my pedal board hooked up, because I can just like discreetly route things to pedals and back and into the DAW, or run plugins into the pedals and stuff. It's great. What part of the country? I live outside of Nashville, Tennessee. From Diet Anything, vile molecular chain. Yeah, diet soda's probably really not good for you, but man, have you ever had like a Diet Dr. Pepper on a hot day? Like that is fucking... That shit's crispy. Like it hits different. Don't EQ for your headphones. I'll use the SonarWorks reference to correct these, but then I just feel like they sound weird. So I just, if I am doing mixing and mastering checks on headphones, I'll just use the Austrian Audio ones. What do you do about art for your Venus Theory releases? I use a lot of Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, and then I have a pretty big catalog of like photos. Like I'll take pictures with my phone all the time, or like do stuff with like my cool camera, or sometimes Blender. Like I'll just make shit in Blender and like render it as a photo. So usually for art, I kind of just have like an idea, and then I have a lot of there's like Texture Labs or Texture Fabric resources like that, where it's like grain overlays or like ink spills and things like that. I like playing with a lot of that in Affinity Photo to make all the things all goopy and gross looking. Like generally, I think my releases have kind of an aesthetic to them, so I just kind of think like, what, if this song or this album or this soundtrack or whatever is like a color, what mood is the music, and then just like, what does that look like, and then just play around with like photoshopping things and drawing shapes, or like making things in Blender and like playing with lighting on a 3D thingy, and just like goofing around with like different blend modes and like effects and stuff, just to make something that looks cool. I'm very much not a visual artist. I don't know. My dad got all the visual art talent. I got all the music, apparently, even though like, my music is very okay. Yeah, I'm not like I don't draw good. So I just do the best I can and make something that looks okay to me. I try not to think about it too hard. Is the Solar hard to tune? Yeah, the Solar I definitely have to be in the mood to use, and I find it lasts around half an hour at a time before it kind of starts to get a little weird, and I gotta kind of like refiddle with it. It's not a fun time to tune. Like you've really got to be like, all right, we're gonna use the Solar today, and then if you make another track with it, or you need to change keys, God bless you. Like it's not a lot of fun. What Solar piece did you say you added? One of the drone layers in here. Maybe we'll play this one more time in case anyone missed it. Um, Diet soda's bad for you. Sugary soda certainly is. Yeah, that's kind of the thing is like, I think everything is going to kill you now. Like, I feel like anytime I look at the news, it's like, oh, lettuce causes your eyes to melt out your asshole, and suntan lotion actually rots your skin off, and but McDonald's is good for you. You know, it's like I'm gonna die whenever I die. I'm not that worried about it. Was dead. What's the quote? I was dead for a really long time before I was alive, and it didn't bother me any. Ever use AI tools for art? I've kind of dabbled with it, and sometimes like it's useful to make like a certain texture where like I'll feed it like a source image and do something, but I don't know. It's hard to get AI art that's like really the mood. I don't know how to describe it, but I think it's also like my thing. I don't know how to say that in words good for like a prompt. So I don't know, like sometimes I've gotten cool results out of it. I've used it for a lot of like concept art ideas and things like that, but yeah, I'm just like not a big AI image person with a lot of that. A couple releases I've tried it with. I think Canadian Wildfires I did to make the trees like fire and stuff, and that was really cool. But then like I take that image and do like a fuck ton of editing to it to make it like the right mood. But yeah, I mean, just kind of a mix of whatever, but mostly it's like Affinity stuff, Blender, throw a bunch of weird dirty film overlays on it until it looks interesting, or like, you know, take a picture and Photoshop it until something cool happens. Song titles. How loud do you have your monitors? Whatever I would listen to music at, that's where my monitors are. Like I'll listen to a song, and that's like the level of monitors. I'm not a big loud monitor guy. I'll turn them up loud when I'm like finalizing stuff, but generally it's like, if I was watching a TV show, how loud would it be? And I'll just leave it at that. Any methods to come up with song titles? I honestly don't know. All of my titles just kind of like pop in my head and I'm like, whoa, that's a neat series of words, and then I'll just write it down. I honestly have no idea. You know, reading books or watching shows or like active listening when you're out and about, sometimes people just say like interesting things and you're like, oh, that's cool. I don't really have a method for it. Red wine is always good for you. I have heard that. I can't drink red wine anymore, man. I used to be a big like wine guy in my like early-ish to like late 20s, and then I got old and I can't drink red wine anymore without just the most unfucking godly hangovers. All right. Stream more or not? I mean, I've been streaming for a minute now. I'm just trying to run through questions. Solar 42, it's good. People will ever go to a concert to see AI Cuck Robot perform? I honestly don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Novels, what's your flavor? I'm not a big fiction guy. I've been reading some of the Warhammer books, and they're actually pretty cool. I'm more of a like philosophy or non-fiction person. A lot of like philosophy, psychology stuff, and I don't know, weird books like that. All right. Sure. Why don't we just play through this one more time? We'll see what we made, and I guess I'm going to call it. Sound good? For anyone who missed it, and then someone asked about the solar patch. This was the solar in this track. It's kind of a cool... creepy drone. All right, one more time. Let's hear it. My big 4 out of 10. Yeah, it's okay. I think if I were to really do this, I would just nuke all of this, all of this. I really like where this first section is going, and I think the pulse is kind of cool. Maybe just get rid of the stupid bullshit bass drop thing. Maybe just get rid of that too. Like, I really like this vibe. Yeah, like, just develop this a little more. Yeah, like, I think there's an idea in there that would actually work nicely. And then maybe, like, the violin kind of takes over there. Double up with, like, a high octave. Maybe. I mean, honestly, you could probably just get rid of the strings entirely and just add some other texture work and, like, just a subtle, like, filtered saw to build that melody out, and that would be cool. But, you know, it's a random track for a random stream. It truly doesn't matter. What does matter is that you go out and make music after this, because it's good for you. Music is like vegetables for your soul. And you can play with that fun E major chord. So E major, this one, and then play a C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, and A sharp on top of it. It's a lovely... Go do something with that chord today. And thank your mother for birthing you. All right, guess that's it. That was fun. Thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry the track is kind of like the most generic, uninspired garbage, but again, sometimes you just have to let the sludge flow, and next time I stream, we'll make something better. That was fun. Thanks for tuning in. Let's do this again at some point. I have a new video I'm working on. It's gonna take a little while, but it's gonna be a spicy one. We'll say that. And have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever. Thanks for tuning in again. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Go make some music yourself, and I will see you again soon. I'm gonna go... Well, it's probably too late for dinner. I'm gonna go have a sandwich, and then I'm gonna go to bed. All right. Bye, everybody.